Okay, let's be real. Generative AI is absolutely everywhere. You know it, I know it. Every company is playing with it, rolling out co-pilots, and talking a big game about transformation. But here's the thing. For all that noise, where's the actual measurable impact? We're going to dive into a new playbook from McKinsey that gets right to the heart of this problem.
And this quote from Mistral AI CEO Arthur Mensch just hits the nail on the head. Right now, for most businesses, AI is kind of bolted on. It's an add-on, an accessory sitting next to the real work. But the real win, the real power, comes when it's not just an accessory, but woven right into the core of how you do business.
And just how common is this bolted-on approach? Well, get this. Nearly 8 out of every 10 companies are already using generative AI somewhere in their business. It's not just growing anymore, it has completely exploded onto the scene. But, and this is a huge but, those same companies, they're looking at their finances, at their bottom line, and they're seeing basically nothing. That massive revolution in productivity everyone was promised, for most, it's just not showing up in the numbers. So you've got this huge gap, right? Widespread use on one side and minimal impact on the other. The report gives this a name, and it's perfect: the Gen AI paradox. It's that feeling of running faster and faster, but not actually going anywhere.
So how do we solve this thing? Well, here's our game plan. First, we'll unpack the paradox itself. Then, we'll get to the root cause by looking at something called horizontal versus vertical AI. After that, we introduce the hero of the story, Agentic AI, see how it works in the real world, and finally, lay out a clear playbook for any leader who wants to get ahead.
All right, let's dig in. The Gen AI paradox. Why is there so much smoke but so little actual fire when it comes to business impact? What's really going on here? So just look at this chart. That blue line going almost straight up, that's AI adoption since 2023. It's a massive hockey stick. But here's the kicker, buried in the data, only 1%, of these companies feel like their AI strategy is actually mature. It's all frantic, tactical activity with almost no real overarching strategy. It's motion without direction. And that lack of strategy, well, it brings us right to the heart of the problem. It's not that Gen AI is useless. It's that companies are betting on the wrong horse.
See, it all comes down to how you use AI. On one side, you've got horizontal AI. Think of those company-wide co-pilots. They're easy to switch on, and they help people with little individual tasks. The impact is there, but it's like a fine mist. It's everywhere and nowhere all at once, and it's almost impossible to measure. On the other side, you have vertical AI. This isn't a mist, it's a fire hose aimed at one specific core business process. The impact is huge and easy to measure, but man, it is way more complex to build and get right.
And this graphic, it just lays it all out. You can see everyone's piling into the easy, low-impact, horizontal stuff. But the real story is what's not happening. Fewer than 10% of companies have managed to scale up those high-impact vertical solutions. Pretty much everyone is taking the path of least resistance.
So if vertical AI is where the gold is, why is nobody getting there?
Well, it's a list of the usual suspects, isn't it? You've got projects all over the place with no coordination, no easy out-of-the-box solutions, plus all the classic corporate roadblocks. Teams that don't talk to each other, data locked away in silos, and a culture that just doesn't like to change.
But this is where the story takes a turn. Because those old roadblocks, they were based on the limitations of yesterday's AI. The next wave, Agentic AI, is what smashes through them. It's the key that finally unlocks the door to those powerful, high-impact vertical wins.
So, what on earth is an AI agent? It's not just a fancy chatbot. Think of it like this. You give an agent a high-level goal, a big one, like overhaul our entire credit risk process. And then it gets to work. It autonomously figures out the steps, connects to the different tools and systems it needs, and executes that complex plan, all without you having to prompt it at every single turn.
And this part is absolutely critical. It's a huge mindset shift. We have to stop thinking of AI as a simple tool that we use and start thinking of it as a collaborator that we manage. These agents aren't magic wands you just wave. To really work, they have to be deeply connected to your systems, your data, and your people.
Okay, I know this can sound a little bit out there, a little theoretical, so let's make it real. The report shows us how some companies are already doing this. Let's look at the actual impact. So check this out. A big bank had this ancient, clunky tech system they had to modernize. The old way was painfully slow and full of manual work. With the new Agentic approach, they had AI agents actually handle tons of the coding and integration work, which let their human experts become supervisors. The result? It was a total game changer. They slashed the time and effort needed by more than half. Or take this retail bank. They completely blew up their old credit risk process. Before, managers would spend weeks writing these incredibly complex memos. Now, an AI agent does the whole thing, automatically. The human's job shifts from being a writer to a high-level strategic reviewer. And the numbers are just staggering. Productivity shot up by 60%, and they're making decisions 30% faster for their customers. Now, this chart says it all. Look at the steps. Just giving your team a basic AI tool? Sure, you get a little bit of time back. Using an agent to optimize the existing workflow? That's better, you get a bigger chunk. But when you let an agent reinvent the entire process from the ground up, the gains are just exponential. We're talking up to a 90% reduction. That is the difference between a little help and a complete transformation.
So you're a leader, you see this, and you want in. How do you actually make it happen? Because this isn't some tech problem you can just hand off to the IT department. The report makes it crystal clear this is a strategic mission, and it has to be led from the very top.
So here's the bottom line, the big mental shift that has to happen. You have to stop asking, how can AI help with this one little task, and start asking, how could an AI agent run this entire business process? And what would our company look like if it did? It's about moving from scattered little projects to a focused, strategic reinvention.
So the playbook for CEOs really boils down to 3 huge moves. Number 1, call it. The experimentation phase is over. Focus your money and your people only on the big, high-impact stuff. 2, redesign how you run things. Your old governance model was built for simple tools, not for these powerful, autonomous agents. And 3, launch a lighthouse project. Pick one super important process and go all in on reinventing it. Prove it can be done, and build the momentum to change the whole company.
So really, the time for just playing around is over. As this final question puts it, AI isn't just a tool in your toolbox anymore. It's becoming a new kind of colleague, a digital team member that you have to manage. So the real question for every leader out there isn't if this is going to happen. It's whether your organization is actually ready to lead this new workforce and grab that agentic advantage.